welcome back to CFA Cricket for Americans. Nick here, and this is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the true test as a newcomer to the IPL, as a cricket fan, talking to you, the experts, about the team that you love or you hate, depending on what side of the line you are. That's right, this is my final team overview. This is episode 8 of our 8-part series. Thank you so much, Gabe, my man, for joining me with this journey, doing your 4 overviews. I got my 4 overviews. Episode 8, it is time for the Mac Daddy of them all, the Mumbai Indians. Now, I appreciate all the love and the appreciation for my RCB episode and all of our other episodes. But this one, I'm not going to lie, I'm feeling the nerves just a little bit. This is your team. If you came tuned in to learn, or not to learn, to listen to me talk about the Mumbai Indians, then here you go. So much to talk about. I'm just going to get right into it. The Mumbai Indians is one of the original teams to start in the IPL. Okay, they used to be called or considered the Razors. Mumbai Razors, until Sachin, that's right, Sachin Tendulkar, he suggested, why don't we call them the Indians? And he was one of their founding members. They had these legends they brought in, and he was their legend. All right, they are owned by Reliance Industries, and they play in Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. Their colors are blue and gold. I did the best I can. You know, the yellow's close to the gold. Blue and gold are their colors. Their captain is Rohit Sharma. Rohit Sharma, he is, you got to call him an IPL legend. He's led his team to 4 titles, for crying out loud. As far as I know, he's been the captain of all those titles, if not at least 3 of them. They've won. I mean, it's crazy. We'll get into the winning a little bit. Their coach is Mahela Jayawardene. Excuse me for that. He is their head coach. Like I said, Mumbai Indians. These folks have won 4 titles since 2013, 4 in the last 7 years. Most recently last year in 2019 in a nail-biter. There is a show about this team, for crying out loud, called Cricket Fever, which I've started, and then I was waiting for Gabe to catch up, and then he got into it, and I got distracted with other things, so eventually we're going to finish it, but I was loving that show. Cricket Fever's on Netflix. They also have won 2 Champions League 2020 titles. Lasith Malinga is their leading wicket taker of all time. They struggled their first 2 years, earning just 12 wins on 16 losses in their first 2 years. Then enter Kieran Pollard and other new players. They were led by Sachin, Malinga, Harbhajan, Rayudu, and Tiwari to set off 2010 with a 7-1 record. But they lost in the finals to their rivals, CSK. Then in 2013, they elected Rohit Sharma as their new captain. There you go, like I thought, 4 of them. And since then, they've won 4 titles in 7 years. I don't care what the sport is. I don't care if there's only 2 teams involved. You win 4 titles in 7 years. That's super impressive. In any sport, that's amazing. That's New England Patriot territory. That's New York Yankee territory. That's what this team is. This is the New York Yankees of the IPL. And they didn't win their first title until 2013. It had already been around for 5 years before that. They've won 4 and 7. They put themselves at the top. If CSK, the Super Kings, would have won last year, then they would have had the 4 and Mumbai would have had the 3. But they got the 4. I mean, this is a team I understand why there's a huge fan base. It's in Mumbai, right? It's a big city. They're named the Indians, for crying out loud, and they play in the Indian Premier League. I mean, the league is literally named after them, or they're named after the league. I mean, if I was a Mumbai fan, I would say, yeah, it's our league, the Indian Premier League. I mean, it's unbelievable, this team. They got some cool colors. They have some owners that have amazingly deep pockets. They have drafted well. They have signed well. And they have some great players. And speaking of great players, let's get into some of those great players right now. Let's go ahead and figure out what players they have on the 2020 squad. As far as their batsman goes, we are going to start off with the captain. I'm the captain now. He's been the captain since 2013, Rohit Sharma. Now, Bogle said in his overview, he told me something, and anyone that watched that, something I didn't know about. He said that Rohit Sharma's numbers as far as average strike rate has been declining the last 4 years, with only a handful of 50s or so, with the high score of 94. But this is still Rohit Sharma. This is the guy that got 264. Yeah, that guy. This is the guy that can rake, and this is the guy that can lead. And if his output is declining, but they're still winning titles, I mean, come on. Come on. You also have Surya Kumar Yadav. Surya Kumar Yadav. Not only is that a fantastic name, but this is someone that Bogle was high on, so therefore I'm high on this guy. You have Anmolpreet Singh as another one of their batsmen. They have Sherfane Rutherford. They have Chris Lynn. I've heard about him. And they have Saurabh Tiwari. Now, reading those batsmen, I didn't know all of them. I knew about half of them. But I do notice on the salaries on the internet, the minimum salary of $28,000. One of the things I'm really excited about going into this season, my first season IPL, watching it live, one of the things I'm really excited about is seeing which of these 28,000 guys, which of these guys are going to step up and demand more money because their play just deserves that. How many of these guys, these names I'm going to read that I don't know, and maybe you don't even know too well, how many of these guys are going to just put their name on the map for any of these teams? That's what I'm excited for. Let's get to the all-rounders for the Mumbai Indians. We have Kieran Pollard. I mean, come on. This guy is a nightmare if you are Nick. Going against him with my Tridents and him with his Knight Riders, the undefeated champs of the CPL. Hats off to you. He led his squad. In the one match I saw against Gabe, one of the many I saw against Gabe with TKR, is this guy just put his team on his shoulder. He got himself like 10 or 11 sixes and was able to chase just in time. Unbelievable. And then you have the Pandya brothers, and these are the guys I learned about in Cricket Fever. These guys are young. These guys are exciting. They're brothers. Typically, we have brothers on a team. One's way better than the other, but they're both good enough to play professional. These guys are both unbelievable. You have Hardik Pandya, and then, like I said, you have his brother, Krunal Pandya. And I think, again, on Cricket Fever, said they're like playing video games. They're just having fun, and they just love playing cricket. I love that these guys can seriously rake. They can rake. I had no idea they were all-rounders as well. And I saw Pollard in the CPL, get some wickets. I didn't know the Pandya brothers can do that too. We also have as an all-rounder, we have Digvijay Deshmukh as an all-rounder. We have Prince Balwant Rai Singh, or maybe Ray Singh. So they have 6 all-rounders. They have 6 batsmen so far. It's pretty symmetrical. Let's go see about their wicket keepers. You're not going to have 6 wicket keepers. They have 3 of them. And we're starting with Ishan Kishan. This guy, again, Cricket Fever, you learn a lot about this guy. This guy's young. This guy wants milkshakes in the middle of the night. This guy's got his mom who's feeding him well. I mean, this guy can rake. This guy is a really, really decent wicket keeper. I mean, come on. And he's young. Holy cow, he's young. You also have Aditya Tari, and I'm pretty sure he's a guy that's been with them for quite a while. He's helped them win a few titles. And he's a guy that, is trying to hold on to his spot in Cricket Fever before Kishan comes in. And then you also have Quinton de Kock as far as our last wicket keeper. So they have 3 wicket keepers, which I think is a good number to have. 2 you can get by in my opinion, but 3, I mean, come on. It's a season that's not long because it's about 2 months, but there's games every single day, sometimes twice a day. So it's good to have that depth. It's good to have that depth of the wicketkeeper. Spin bowlers, they have 3. This is what makes me the most nervous about this squad. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is just a novice coming in this first season. Having 3 spin bowlers makes me nervous. I'm hoping and I'm wondering if the Pandya brothers, if Pollard, I don't know if Pollard's a spin bowler, but if those guys can spin as well. Any of the all-rounders can spin because they only have 3. And they know what they're doing, obviously. Those 3 are Rahul Chahar, We also have Anikul Roy. And then we have Jayant Yadav. Now, when I first saw the last name Roy on their squad, I was like, I mean, I know he's good for England, but that guy on England, the guy I keep seeing getting donuts and ones and twos? No, this is Anikul Roy. We'll see what he can bring. But spin bowlers, in my opinion, are super important. They're not the most important. You got to have pace. You got to have pace first and foremost. But you got to have spin as well. And they have 3, so we'll see if that works. Pace bowlers. Oh, they got some pace bowlers. The pace bowlers make me super excited. As nervous as I am about the spin bowlers, not the players, but just the number of them, I'm just that excited about their pace bowlers. They have Jasprit Bumrah. I know that name. I have never seen a highlight reel of this guy that I know of, but I know that name. That just tells you he's a name brand, like Gabe says. This guy knows what he's doing. We also have Mitchell McClanahan. I've seen that name before. I'm not sure why I'm struggling with it. But, it's not just the Indian names I struggle with sometimes. We have on the squad Lasith Malinga, but he's not playing. He's opted out due to personal reasons. So James Pattinson has taken his role. I don't know much about James Pattinson, but I do know the last name playing Batman. So let's see if this guy can be Batman for the pace bowling squad. That dark horse that you're not expecting to come in and really take some wickets. You got Trent Bolt as a pace bowler. You also have Dawal Kulkarni. Heard a lot about this guy from Bogle. He loves this guy. I love this guy now. You have Nathan Coulter-Nile. You also have Mohsin Khan. And that makes up our list of pace bowlers. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pace bowlers, the 3 spinners. I would have loved to have one more experienced spinner in there, but we get what we get. This is a stacked team. This is a championship team. Again, this is a team that's owned by Reliance, where they have their son. He's now taking the reins, and this guy loves himself some cricket, and I love that. You got to have a nice mix of an owner who is invested and passionate and involved, but not too involved. We see it with Jerry Jones and with the Cowboys. It doesn't work if you're too involved, and I'm curious if he's going to find himself a little too involved. We'll see. Now let's talk about some of the awards Mumbai Indians have earned. I mean, come on. You're not the Mumbai Indians without getting some awards, right? As far as the orange cap, they have themselves one orange cap winner, the god of cricket, Sachin Tendulkar, in 2010. So early on, before they really became the Mumbai Indians as far as the championships came. They also have a purple cap. You want to guess who it is? That's right, Malinga. Slinga Malinga in 2011 got himself a purple cap. Good for you, Malinga. MVP. They have an MVP award. What's the guy? Oh, yeah, Sachin Tendulkar. He also MVP in 2010. This team had Sachin in 2000, in the late 2000s, but early in the IPL. Wasn't able to translate into titles. I don't even know if he was on the squad in 2013. And then now we have Virat, who is the best right now, not able to translate into some titles. So it's not always having that name brand, that best of the best, but man, it does not hurt. These guys win themselves some awards. They help their team. Maximum Sixes Award, they have one of those awards in the inaugural year, Sanath Jayasuriya. Okay? I hope I said that right, because if I did, that name was really fun to say. Really cool name. 2008, he got himself the most sixes in that season. They have at least one of all of these. They have one winner of each of these awards. The Emerging Player Award, they have Saurabh Tiwari in 2010. Tiwari in 2010 was the Emerging Player of the Year award. And then they also won the Fair Play Award in 2018. Okay, oddly enough, that was a year that they did not win the championship. In a lot of sports, the championship team, they usually hog all the awards. It's cool how in the IPL, they gave it to the one that's most deserving. And so they were most deserving in 2018. And it's cool. I wanted to look it up real quick. It's cool that Tiwari was their Emerging Player 2010. The man's still on the squad 10 years later. I love that. Championships. Let's see. Do they have any? Oh, yeah. They got 4 championships. They're looking for that one for the thumb this year. Oh, I hated that when other teams in the NFL got the one for the thumb because my team can't even get one for the finger, for crying out loud. 2013, let's talk about that season just a little bit. Their first title. This season seemed to have several close calls for Mumbai winning or losing matches during parts of the season. They also had themselves quite a few comfortable wins in that season. And when you have a season like that where you have a lot of close calls, and then you have some comfortable wins, but you have a lot of close calls, that's where you find out what team you have. That's where you find out what you're made of. Can we win in those close games? They ended up being 13-6 that season, and they beat the Super Kings in the final by 23 runs. So not a blowout, but a pretty decent win for their first title. 2015, all these are odd years. 2015, Mumbai Indians lost the first 4 matches. Can you imagine that? They lost the first 4 matches. In a season they won the title, they lost the first 4. I can't imagine how much the sky was falling in Mumbai. I can't imagine the fans just like, oh, this season's done. They lost Finch and Anderson for the season. Then they went on to win 9 of the last 10, thanks to batting performances by several batsmen contributing. Not just one, but several. 9 of the last 10 after starting 0-4. Come on. You can't make this stuff up. They beat CSK again, this time by 41 runs. Ooh, CSK, they're there like every year. 2017, they won 10 of the 14 matches that season, finishing in the top overall spot. They played in one of the best nail-biting matches in the final against the rising Pune Supergiants, which was a team that was around for only 2 years. So that team was around for 2 years. They went to the final. That's pretty cool. Mumbai Indians won by 1 run in that title. In that very competitive match, they won by 1 run. The Supergiant, who's only around for 2 years, they almost had themselves a championship like that. That's how we do it. We come in, we win, and we bounce. Let's go on to another league and wreck that one. 1 run. Mumbai, 1 run. Ooh, that was close. And then 2019, Mumbai went 11-5. They played in another crazy finals with CSK. Me and Gabe have reacted to it. I'm not sure if we posted it or if we just watched it on our own. They beat CSK by 1 run, where Malinga got the wicket on the final ball to win the title for Mumbai Indians. And there was some controversy there. Oh, there was some controversy. They won by 1 run. You're talking about 2 runs. 2 runs was the difference between having 2 titles, which is still great, and 4 titles going for the thumb this year. This team seems to have luck on their side. They seem to have great players on their side. They seem to be able to just do what they got to do and get the job done. And they're coming in, like all the other 7 teams, into this COVID season, into these challenges where the season should have happened 6 months ago, typically. They're coming in almost 2 years later. We're going to see what they got. We're going to see what they got. We're going to see what the other teams got. Thank you so much for checking us out here on Cricket for Americans. Thank you so much for checking out our overviews. This one was a little longer for me, but come on, it's Mumbai Indians. 4 titles. It takes a long time to talk about that. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. Please check out our other videos that we have on the channel. We have so many wonderful videos for you to check out and enjoy. Don't forget to check out Boring Reviews, our other channel. And until next time, that's a good squad.